Today we're going to be breaking down the Latte makeup look. I'm going to start with the base of the Bellamy Liquid Foundation. This is a skincare infused foundation that also goes by European standards, so we're going to try it out. And of course, I am going to mix it with my favorite makeup line, Saint. Now that I have a nice layer of the foundation, we are going to dip into this cream contour. This shade is called Cedar, and I'm going to apply it with my detail brush. This is the flat end of the detail brush, and I'm just going to swipe it across my forehead right underneath my hairline. You're going to find that the cream contours take a little bit more to put on because they're a little bit more dense than the other cream products. Also, if your brush is newer, you may find that it's a little harder to get on, but don't worry, the more you practice with it, the better you'll get at it. I love this brush, particularly for the nose contour, because look how easy this is. You're just gonna dip it a little bit into the side of the brush, and then you're basically gonna stamp and lightly rub and make that perfect line down each side of the nose. Now I'm gonna put my Tarte concealer on my hand and let it warm up for a little bit. While I'm waiting on that to warm up, I'm gonna start blending in my contour. Now for blending, I did switch to my blush bronzer brush. The detail brush we were using before isn't as good for blending because it's more of a medium to full coverage, so the bristle's a little bit more dense and compact, which makes it not as good for blending. And when you blend, you want to make sure you're using a stippling technique where you're just pressing and lightly dragging in the direction that you want that contour to go. We're going to take a quick play break right here. Okay, now that my concealer is warmed up, we're going to lightly tap it into that under eye area. This isn't usually how I do my under eyes. I'm actually trying out a new TikTok trend that I loved, so I'll be sharing details about that in another video. But once you get that blended and tapped in pretty well, you're gonna go in with your beauty blender or sponge. I'm gonna add it a little bit too on my nose and then my Cupid's bow. So my typical areas that I like to do my brightening highlight. And then you're gonna take a damp sponge and you're going to blend it a little bit more. Now it's time for bronzer. So I actually switched to my 3D brush here, and I am going to just tap with that rounded end in these areas. So basically I like to say where my devil horns would go if I'm going to be like the devil for Halloween. I usually say that's where I would place my bronzer on my forehead. And then the upper portion of your cheek, kind of going back. I try not to go too far in underneath my eye. I keep it on that outer portion. And then as I'm blending, I keep it going back, and then I'll come into the middle a little bit. I'm gonna tap a little bit on that center portion of my nose and then bring it across. The other thing I love to do is flip to the other end and just take a little bit on the outer portion of my eye and then flip the brush again and blend it out. Now I am going to take the ColourPop eyebrow pencil, and this is dark brown, and I'm gonna line that underneath portion of my brow, and then I like to flick the hairs up. So we're gonna line that portion right there until we get to the arch where it bends, do a separate line, and then I flip the end of the brush and just brush them up and back. This just gives my eyebrows a little bit of shape, but still look very natural. Okay, I'm gonna show you the easiest eyeshadow ever. We've already started with putting that cream bronzer on that outside portion, but now we're gonna take Bubba, and this is the blend brush with the smaller end, and I'm just going to go right above where I put that cream bronzer. And I am just going to blend that until I get the depth and the amount of the color that I want on my lid. This technique is so easy and beautiful, it's crazy. Once you get the amount of depth you want there, you can switch to the cupcake shade, and we're gonna use our finger. We're gonna pop a little bit on the inside corner, and then I'm gonna take the eyeshadow brush with Bubba, and I'm gonna go right underneath and line just the outer portion of my eye. And then we're gonna apply mascara. I use the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. I'm gonna do the top and the bottom, and your eyes are done. Now for the lips. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I am literally using my eyebrow pencil because it's the perfect shade as my lip liner. So I'm going to line my lips, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line that outer portion line, and then I'm going to kind of fill in and bring that liner shade in. So I am going to line very precisely that outline border on my top. I'm going to go above my lip line just a little bit onto my skin because my upper lip is a little bit smaller than my lower lip. Then I'm gonna fill in, and I'm gonna bring that shade a little bit more inward on my lips so that it'll help with the transition into the next color. Once I've done that, I'm going to switch to my Lip and Cheek Colors by Saint. So I'm gonna actually use Nude, this color right here. I'm gonna get a little bit on my finger, and I'm gonna rub it kind of right over that inside line where I ended the liner and where my lip that hasn't been touched yet begins. Then I'm going to switch to this shade right here. This shade is going to be going away soon. This is Melody, which is a limited edition shade. So if you haven't stocked up on it, I recommend doing it because it is my favorite shade. Once you get that, we're just gonna lightly blot those colors together, tap it in, Now for the last thing we're gonna do, this is like my trick of all tricks. You are going to take that cupcake eyeshadow and you're gonna put a little bit right there on the center of the lip. This is going to brighten that area up, and it's also going to set and lock in that color so it lasts longer. So I'm gonna tap and blend that out a little bit, blot my lips, and we're good to go. Now this is another new product that I've been trying out. This is the Head in the Clouds palette by Bellamy, and I'm using their powdered bronzer, highlighter, and blush. The other new product that I'm using is the Jouer Setting Powder in Pale. This tutorial is for you guys who have been asking me about making your makeup look more matte. I've been seeing a lot of hype about the setting powder, so of course I'm going to try it out, and I did love it. I will do another review on this later and give you more information about it, but I loved this. And that's it for the Latte makeup look. This combo of products gave me more of a matte finish, and it lasted all day. This is 6 hours later. After I filmed this, we packed everything up in the car for several hours, sweating in the heat, and this still looked amazing.